Hey guys, and CSFan001 here, welcoming you to a video that I've been promising for a little while now. This will probably be going up well before, the 200th Platinum or so has gone up. But today I'm going to be showing you guys sort of my entire trophy list and a lot of my thoughts on that. And I'm probably going to look at psnprofiles some as well and look at some of the progress and things, statistics and stuff on there as well. So this is one I've been wanting to talk about for a while, just to show off my entire trophy list from over the years. So if we start looking at it, the most recent game I've been working on is Skyrim on the PS4. Absolutely loving the game, but have a very long way to go. I've gotten most of the missable trophies done, at least from the main game, but I've still got like a couple left in like the DLCs and stuff, but it's a lot of fun so far. I've enjoyed it a lot. Then we have Minecraft. I have all three versions of the game, as you're going to see, and I've only 100% of the PS4 version because they keep putting DLC into the game, which is so annoying because this game, I got it back in September of 2014, and we're still getting DLC in February of 2017. Please stop doing it, even though I know they're not going to. I know there's a lot more they have to make for it. There's going to be lots more DLCs, so I don't expect it to end anytime soon. This right here, Corpse Party Blood Drive, is the easiest and fastest platinum trophy in existence. It takes about a minute. You just have to go to the debug menu and hit the circle button, and that's literally all you have to do. It's the only visual novel game I've done. This is the Korean Vita version, by the way. That's the only version that does this. Resident Evil 7, I really need to get back to that. I've been sort of putting that off for a while because I've made a lot of progress on the main game. I just have the gold trophies left and Madhouse, and that's all I have left. I'm going to do all the gold trophies in one run, and then I still have to do the DLCs. Wolf Among Us, that was number 201. That was a lot of fun. I've done it all 3 times. Yeah, that was number 201. That's one of the best Telltale games, although the Vita version had a lot of problems, like with crashing a few times. Killzone Mercenary, that's another one I really need to get back to because I finished all the multiplayer trophies in like a week and a half just to get them done in case the servers shut down because Gorilla Cambridge shutting down. And I'm done with all the online trophies. I just need to go back and do the entire campaign, which shouldn't be too bad. It should be a lot of fun, actually. Uncharted 3 Remastered. That one was definitely a lot of fun, but that one was probably the worst brutal mode out of the 3 games just because of some of the sections of the game being really, really badly designed for brutal mode. Even with the cheats active, it was really annoying. Firewatch, that was a solid 100%. That was pretty easy, though I don't know why they had to add on the DLCs, or the DLC pack afterward. That was kind of dumb. But I did it actually after the whole DLC came out. Attack on Titan, that was my 200th Platinum Trophy. That one was a very fun game, but it got to be a real pain in the butt when you have to go for the 100% the Gallery Trophy, which is the last trophy you're going to get in the game. And that like doubles the difficulty and time to Platinum, but it's definitely a fun game other than that, so definitely one I would suggest trying out. Plus, the average trophy completion for the game is like 44% or something. So very high completion percentage overall. It's mostly just that one gold trophy that's going to stop people from platinuming it. Adam's Venture Origins, that was number 199. That was an extremely poorly made, like, Uncharted ripoff. Would not recommend it aside from it being an easy platinum, and I would recommend renting it. It costs way too much. Bridge Constructor, that was number 198. That one is very easy as long as you're following a guide. It just takes a while because some of the bridges will take multiple tries just because of the randomness of the game. Lara Croft Go, 197. That's a Go game. It's pretty easy. I would say it's actually easier than Hitman Go because you can use the hints the whole way through. Nubla, that was 196. That's one of the most sort of infamous games nowadays for trophies because it has 3 different versions and each of them take like a half an hour if you're following a guide. It took me about 40 minutes because it was the first time doing it, but you can do it in under half an hour, and they're very, very easy games as long as you follow a guide. Watch Dogs 2, that one was a lot of fun to platinum, and right now I've got the platinum. I got that pretty easily, but we have the first DLC and there's a second DLC coming out later on. I'm going to do those eventually because I know they're going to be easy, just I want to make sure that they both release, and I kind of want to wait and see if the DLC price drops, like as a season pass. Sly 1, that one I've done twice now. It's not too hard as long as you're following a guide for where all the collectibles are. Just the last section's really annoying because it's not very well designed because you die in one hit in that game unless you have a horseshoe, which is really kind of annoying, but it can be fun at times. Killzone 3, that's one I was working on actually over winter break toward the end of break, but I didn't have time to finish it. All I have left in this game, I believe, is just, well, the DLCs for one. I don't know if I'm ever going to do the DLCs, because I think that would initiate the Killzone multiplayer trophy list. I need to clarify on all that. I want to say all I'm missing in this one is, let's see, did I skip one up here? No, I didn't. It just didn't show up. Destroy everything on the Mauler and beat the game on Elite is all I have left. I've done everything else. I did all the multiplayer trophies. Borderlands, the pre-sequel, I've platinumed and 100%ed both versions of that game. That one's a lot of fun, but it's not as good as Borderlands 2. But yeah, I both platinumed and 100%ed both versions of the game, so I'm happy about that. I just wish it had had probably more DLC instead of having, like, half of its Season Pass content be terrible. Actually, 3/4 of its Season Pass content wasn't really any good. CSI Fatal Conspiracy, that is the earliest Telltale game to get a platinum. It is one of the easiest, though, I wouldn't say the easiest just because you do have to follow a guide for this one just because of the way a couple of the trophies are, but it is the shortest Telltale Platinum, so that's definitely a good thing. Torin, that was an easy 100% game. I don't really remember it as being anything special. It took a couple hours. Goat Simulator, I have the Platinum for both the PS3 and PS4, and I have 100% of the PS4. The PS3 doesn't have DLC. I wish they would stop producing DLC for this game as well, because this one's kind of old and no one really wants more DLC to keep coming out, even though the DLC is easier than the main game. Duke Nukem 3D 20th Anniversary, that one was a lot of fun and it's very easy because you can use cheats and stuff in it, so definitely would recommend picking that one up, though it's kind of glitchy at times. The Bunker, that's a walking simulator style point-and-click game. It takes about an hour and a half to platinum. Very easy as long as you're following a guide. The Park, that's 100%. That thing was really, really creepy. I mean, I don't regret playing it because it was very easy, but it was creepy. So, yeah. Lego Pirates of the Caribbean, that's one of the earlier Lego games. The earlier Lego games tend to be faster than the modern Lego games, but they aren't necessarily easier or harder. They're pretty much about the same in difficulty for the most part. This one annoyed me just because my disc didn't work properly and I couldn't get past a certain point in the game, so I ended up having to rent it, and I'm probably going to have to sell the copy back to GameStop or something. They clearly don't care because they sold me a defective copy in the first place. Anyway, Batman, that's a Telltale game, very easy. Nothing much to talk about with that, just beat the game, you get the platinum. Star Wars Battlefront, I have platinumed the game and 100% of the first 3 DLCs, but I still have to finish Rogue One Scarif because they did this stupid trophy for reaching rank 100. I'll get the infiltration ones, those aren't too hard, but I have to reach rank 100. I'm holding out, hoping that they're gonna do another double XP or triple or quadruple XP weekend, because I went from level 50 to 69 over Christmas break, just because of that one extra weekend or whatever you want to call it. Infinite Warfare, I have the platinum, but I haven't started on the DLC yet. I'm not planning on starting on the DLCs just yet. I will eventually, though, just because I did like the zombies in this game, and I sort of like the campaign. I found the zombies to be stupid enough to be fun. As long as they don't put in any actual, like, multiplayer trophies, it won't be that much of a problem. Battlefield 1, that was a very, very fun game, and I know that there will be DLC for that, and I will not mind at all going back to that game because I definitely enjoyed it a lot, even though it's very different for me from the sort of fast-paced Call of Duty that I'm used to. Beyond Eyes, that's another easy 100%, takes an hour or two, nothing too bad there. Another version of Minecraft, like I said, I haven't done any of the new DLC trophies for the Vita or PS3 version yet. The PS3 version will be easier, though, because you can do all the multiplayer with multiple controllers. Because for the PS4 version, you need to have multiple accounts as well as multiple controllers, unless you want to boost it online with someone, which is what I ended up doing. And then the Vita version, you need to have either multiple Vitas, which most people don't, or boosting partners, so that's the hardest one. Nero, that's another like walking simulator style game with some puzzles in it, 3 to 4 hours, very easy. Though it has a trophy that can only be earned on Thursdays for some reason. Monster Jam Crush It, that's a monster truck game. That's the easiest of the Monster Jam games, nothing to worry about with that. Wheels of Aurelia, that game was terrible. I really did not enjoy it. It's like somewhat of a driving simulator game. I don't really know how to describe that. It's just kind of weird. It's not very fun. I didn't enjoy it at all and wouldn't really recommend it, partially because a couple of the trophies are glitched. Lego Harry Potter 5 through 7, I've only done the PS3 version of it. That was a pretty fun Lego game. It had fewer collectibles per level, just kind of an annoying, confusing castle layout. Sly 2, I've done both versions of that. Actually, that was one of my first platinums, was the PS3 version of that game. That's arguably the easiest Sly game, just because there's not much focus on collectibles, and the game's still pretty easy and fairly short, though Sly 1's probably still a little bit easier overall. Albedo Eyes from Outer Space, that game was terrible. I didn't enjoy that one at all. It's basically another sort of walking simulator puzzle-based game. Takes like 1 to 2 hours. You can probably do it in less. Gemini Heroes Reborn, that is based off of that TV series. It had some creative ideas to it. It just wasn't that well executed, but it's still a very easy platinum trophy. It doesn't take too long to do. Jazzpunk, that game is actually surprisingly fun. I talked about that a little bit when I did my platinum trophy video of the game. It's actually kind of fun. I did kind of enjoy that game, and it's very short too. It takes about an hour to platinum. Destroy All Humans 2, absolutely love the game, did a Let's Play of it, did a Let's Play of the PS4 version more recently, and its platinum trophy is very easy as long as you sort of know how to play the game. Every trophy is tied to completing the game to 100%, which I've done a ridiculous number of times, and I was the second person in the world to platinum the game, so I'm very proud of that. Virginia, that's another easy walking simulator style game. Unfortunately, you have to beat the game twice to earn one of the trophies, which is really stupid. Uncharted 2 Remastered, that one is the medium difficulty of the remasters, because the brutal mode is not as bad as Uncharted 3, but it's actually harder than Uncharted 1, because Uncharted 1 you can skip literally like half the game from skip glitches, which is really nice, but still very fun game. Glad to play those on the PS4. Arcade game series Pac-Man, that one is, or Miss Pac-Man, I've also done Pac-Man though. Both of those are fairly easy as long as you use the saving exploits. An Arcade Archives game, I've done like probably 20 of the Arcade Archives games, and most of them aren't too bad, the ones I've done at least. Monster Jam Battlegrounds, that's the first Monster Jam game. That one's the hardest of the three, but it's still not too difficult. It takes, 3 to 5 hours, nothing too bad. Another Minecraft version, Minecraft Story Mode. I've platinumed and 100%ed both versions of that game. Very easy, reasonably fun, not the best of the Telltale games though. The Deadly Tower of Monsters, that one's a real sort of cheesy B-movie style game, and it's actually kind of fun because of it. The PS4 version of LEGO Star Wars The Force Awakens, that one's one of my more favorite LEGO games just because I'm a huge Star Wars fan. The DLCs are also very easy for that game. There's 4 of them that are all really easy, but that's a fun game. Definitely would recommend picking that one up and getting the platinum and 100%. It has 3 different versions. I haven't done the other 2 versions yet. I don't know when I will. Modern Warfare Remastered, tons of fun with that, with the only really difficult part being Mile High Club. Homefront The Revolution, that's platinumed and currently at 100%. That is one of my proudest platinums because of just how broken the game was and still kind of is. But otherwise, still, it's not the hardest game in the world as long as you sort of know what to expect going in, unless you start getting really screwed over by glitches. I will have to go back and finish the 100% for this game, though, when the last DLC releases in March. Walking Dead Season 2, I've done that all 3 times. It has a lot of silver trophies in it, but I've done it all 3 times. Just beat the game and you'll get the 100%, no platinum with it. My Name is Mayo, probably one of the most infamous trophy hunting games now. It takes a little under a half an hour of basically just hitting the X button 10,000 times on your controller and on your Vita. I actually did that on election night. That's how I stayed up until 3 in the morning on election night. Destroy All Humans 1 on the PS4. That's another very, very fun game. It's nice because you can use the cheats in this game to make it much easier, but it's still a very fun, very easy game overall, but more grindy than Destroy All Humans 2. Not everything's tied to 100%ing the game this time around. The Walking Dead Season 1, I've platinumed and 100%ed it 3 times. Do not have the Japanese version, don't plan on getting that one. But this is, of course, the original sort of very easy 100% platinum game out there. Just beat the game, you'll get the platinum. The 100% requires you to go a little more out of your way, but the platinum is extremely easy. Wolfenstein The Old Blood, that was a pretty fun game. Another Wolfenstein game. Nothing too difficult about it aside from a couple of the challenges. It's like a medium difficulty game. Uncharted 1 Remastered, like I said, is the easiest to 100% just because you can use the cheats. If you use a glitch, you can use the cheats on any playthrough. Plus, you can glitch through the walls really easily and skip literally half the game doing so. Coffin Dodgers, that's a racing game. I usually don't do racing games, but that one was surprisingly very easy. Black Ops 3, that's one I really need to go back to because I never played it that much. I know I could get a lot more of the trophies in it. Maybe not the Platinum anytime soon, but I should at least go back and try to get some of the trophies again. And as you can see, I've done very little of the DLC. Rocket League, that's Platinumed and 100%ed for now. It's gotten in a habit of adding on a lot of really annoying DLCs that get progressively more annoying as they go. Especially the one where you have to get like a certified or verified item or whatever it is. Day of the Tentacle Remastered, that was a surprisingly fun point-and-click adventure game. It takes about 3 hours to get, 2 to 3 hours. Abs Animals, I've done both versions of that, and I've heard there's going to be a PS4 port eventually. It's basically you sit on a screen and stare at a cat for 5 minutes, which I actually enjoy this game just because it annoys my dog back home, because one of them is like afraid of the cats on screen, so it's really funny if he looks at it. Sound Shapes, I have Platinumed and 100%ed all three versions of the game. I've not done all 6 versions, and I don't plan to do all 6 versions anytime soon. But I've done the 3 American versions, the Vita, the PS3, and PS4. NBA 2K17, the Prelude, that's a very easy game. It's rare that I ever do anything sports-related. I already seen Minecraft Story Mode. Resident Evil 4, that's a very, very fun game. I've 100%ed both the PS3 and PS4 version. Why this did not get a Platinum trophy and Mayo did will never make sense to me, but it's definitely a fun game, definitely one worth playing. It's not too difficult once you learn the game, but it's going to be difficult for a first-time player. Fallout 4, had a lot of fun playing through that. I wrote all the trophy guides for the game, or co-wrote the main one, and wrote all the DLCs on my own, but that's a fairly easy Platinum trophy overall. It's like a 3 out of 10, little time-consuming. Very fun game, though. I really enjoyed it, even though I don't think it's as good as Fallout 3 or New Vegas, and I really, really hope that for the 20th anniversary this year we get like a remake, a console version remake of all the earlier Fallout games and give us like a collection of them. That would be amazing. Please do that, Bethesda. We would all greatly appreciate it. Alekhine's Gun, that was a really sort of weird like Cold War era spy game. It's really bad. There's nothing really good about it, and the trophies are weird and glitchy. Just wouldn't recommend that one. Resident Evil 5, the PS4 version of this is significantly easier than the PS3 version because they don't really screw you over for missing QuickTime events. Oftentimes you can miss the QuickTime events and then hit them. Like if you're supposed to hit the X button and you hit the square button, if you still hit the X button quickly after that, you'll still usually be okay. So this version was significantly easier. I had very few problems with it. Only the Nadesu fight in Chapter 2-3 is the only hard part. I have not 100%ed the game, though. I've 100%ed the 2 single-player DLCs. I still need to do the Versus DLC at some point. I will do that, though, and I will 100% that version of the game someday. Prototype 2, I've done both versions of it, PS3 and PS4. Pretty easy, a little bit grindy, but not too bad. Already talked about the pre-sequel. Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. That's another walking simulator game, but it's a little bit longer, taking like 6 to 10 hours. Interesting setting, but really, really slow paced compared to some of the others. Orc Slayer, that is like the exact example of really crappy Steam effect. Basically getting really terrible games that should never be on the console in the first place. At least it's an easy Platinum trophy. It looks terrible, it plays terrible, and it's not fun, but it's 2 to 3 hours for a Platinum. No Man's Sky, I did kind of enjoy this game, at least at first, but obviously, as we all know, it was a huge letdown, except for Trophy Hunters, where it's a very easy Platinum trophy for the most part. Definitely would recommend it for trophies. It takes like under 30 hours to Platinum for most people, and it's really more grindy than anything actually difficult. Just Cause 3 Platinumed and 100% of this game. Platinuming it was reasonably fun. It's just the only hard part is doing all the challenges to 5 gears. The DLCs aren't too bad either. Like, the DLCs are actually easier than the main game, but the main game is not too bad. It's a lot less to do to 100% the game than you had to do in the previous game, Just Cause 2, but it's not too bad. I've platinumed both versions of Saints Row Gat Out of Hell. It's one of the easier Saints Row games. It's got 2 annoying trophies related to like comet surfing, I believe is what it is, and the bouncing off of 5 consecutive cars in the like destruction minigame or insurance fraud minigame. Those are the only 2 hard parts of it, and the fact you have to play for 20 hours when you can platinum the game in under 15. Plus, you do have to do the 3 hours in co-op. Adventure Camp, that's the only move game I have currently platinumed. It's one of the easiest out there. It takes 2 to 3 hours, nothing too difficult there. Dead Rising 2, that was number 150, I remember. That was a pretty fun platinum trophy, just kind of annoying that you have to do the 72,000 zombie kills. I don't know if I'm going to do the PS4 version because it's apparently really glitchy and broken. Adventure Time Finn and Jake Investigations, I've done that twice. It's very easy. It's basically like a Telltale game, just you have to follow a guide during it. Far Cry Primal, that's another easy Far Cry game. It's one of the easier Far Cry games. It's like a 20-hour platinum. Nothing too bad with that. Back to the Future, I have platinumed that game twice and gotten the other 100% for it. It's one of the more guide-intensive Telltale games. You will have to follow a guide to get this one platinumed in any reasonable amount of time, but it's still very, very easy as long as you follow a guide. Saints are already talked about that. The Book of Unwritten Tales 2, it's basically very similar to a Telltale game, but it's about twice the length of one. It takes almost 20 hours to platinum. So I don't know if I'd recommend it if you're not really up for spending a lot of time with it, but it's easy, and it's very easy with a guide. It's just kind of time-consuming. Metro Last Light Redux, that was pretty fun. I've done both Last Light and 2033. Last Light is a little bit harder than 2033, partially because it throws in the DLCs with it, but it's not, let's see, yeah, you don't have to do the DLCs for the platinum, or for like 100%. They are sort of included in the platinum. Toro, that's an extremely bad game. It's a bullfighting game. I don't even know how that got released over here. It's terrible. I don't recommend playing it. The controls are terrible, and it's not fun. The Walking Dead Michonne, I've double 100%ed that. It's just another easy Telltale game, nothing missable in it. Submerged, that game was reasonably okay. It's sort of an Uncharted hybrid with, like, exploring a flooded world. It's okay. It's not terrible. Another Arcade Archives game, Michonne again, Game of Thrones, double platinum that. It's one of the easy Telltale games, just it takes a little bit longer because it's 6 episodes instead of 5. Gone Home, that's another 100%, that's very easy. It takes like 2 hours. I mean, you get a trophy for beating the game in under a minute. That's how fairly easy it is. Bully, that was a very fun Rockstar game. It's set in the GTA universe, and it's set at like a prep school called Bulworth Academy. It was a lot of fun to play. It's not very difficult. Definitely would recommend that one. 2033 Redux, I think, was easier, and I personally enjoyed 2033 a little bit more. And I'm really, really excited because supposedly there's going to be another game within the next year or two, so very excited for that. I still have to do the standard version, the PS3 version of Last Light. I will do that eventually, though. Pac-Man, that's fairly easy. That's generally considered to be one of the easiest of the arcade game series, along with Miss Pac-Man. They're both easier than Galaga and Dig Dug. Life is Strange, that's a very easy sort of walking simulator / Telltale mix, where every trophy is earned either through natural progression or by taking a few simple optional pictures. Uncharted 4, A Thief's End, the actual game itself and the platinum was incredibly well done and very fun to play. But this DLC is going to suck because it literally takes like 50 hours or something to do everything to reach the level that you need to reach. Plus, they've made changes to it to where you're basically going to have to buy like microtransactions now to even have a chance at it. So really not happy about that. Uncharted Drake's Fortune, the original Uncharted, that's a very fun, very... it can be kind of tough unless you were willing to use a lot of glitches, which I actually did not do on the PS3 version. I did everything legit. So I'm proud of that. It's the hardest of the Uncharted games in that sense. That game again. GTA 5, I really need to get back to this. Like, I 100%ed the Rockstar editor very easily. Those are all easy, and I've nearly platinumed the main game, but I'm mostly missing multiplayer. I'm missing one campaign trophy that I'm saving for last, but reaching rank 100 just takes so long. I mean, maybe I'll go back to it someday. I'm just not excited for that, and I haven't even really done much of the heist yet. Super Exploding Zoo, that's pretty easy. It's like a sort of random, weird game. It's kind of hard to describe, but it's pretty easy. Until Dawn, that's another sort of story-related game. It's very much more similar to like Heavy Rain than some of the others. Tom Clancy's The Division. You can criticize me all you want for this, but I actually found the game to be kind of enjoyable. I mean, it's not great, obviously, but I found it to be kind of fun. Now, I'm not looking forward to the DLCs because I've heard they're kind of difficult. So I've got both of those to do at some point, and there's going to be a third one as well. I might wait until they all go on sale or something, then maybe I can boost them more easily if there are less people playing. Teslagrad, a lot of people say this game is really easy. I did not see it that way. I found it to be actually very annoying at times, and a little more time-consuming than I thought it was going to be. Grim Fandango Remastered, that's an okay game. It's another point-and-click adventure / walking simulator game. Nothing too much to worry about with that. Just follow a guide and you'll get the platinum along the way, though you do have to play the entire game in tank controls. Homefront 1, that is one of 2 platinums that are completely unobtainable to me because the only trophies I'm missing are multiplayer. I went back like last spring break and cleaned up all of the campaign trophies that I was missing, like beating the game on the hardest difficulty and beating the chapters without dying and finding the collectibles. It wouldn't be that difficult of a platinum if it was only the campaign. Really just the hard part is the multiplayer, and I'm only missing a few multiplayer trophies that I'll never be able to get because the server's shut down. And I would have been able to get at least like half of the remaining multiplayer trophies if they hadn't have shut it down. Another Arcade Archives game, Hasbro Family Game Night. This is the other one that is now unobtainable to me. Now, I have never actually finished the full game, and I really need to do that at some point for... I don't know why I never went back and finished it. I really need to do that. Pretty much only missing stuff from Sorry. And then this one is the one that I can't get for playing a game online because the servers went down. Please give us the abilities to buy online trophies, PlayStation. Hitman Go, very easy, sort of like the Lara Croft one. GTA San Andreas, this one's a little harder than Bully. It's not too hard, but it's still a little challenging at times. Snoopy's Grand Adventure, that one is another easy kids game, but it is annoying because it has like over 6,000 collectibles because you have to collect all 300 jelly beans on each level. It's not that it's hard, it's just really tedious and it takes like 8 to 10 hours. Skyscrapers, that is a fighting game. It's not very well made, but it's very, very easy. It takes like 2 to 3 hours, especially if you have multiple controllers. This is like a 30-minute long sort of story game. It's kind of weird to explain. It's very easy, though. Goosebumps, for a long time, was one of my fastest platinum trophies. It's a point-and-click adventure game. It takes like 2 to 3 hours as well. Very easy, not very time-consuming. Just follow a guide and you won't have any problems with it. Tales from the Borderlands. This is another easy Telltale game. Nothing to worry about with that. 8 to 10 hours of just beating the game. Never Alone, that is another easy game for the most part, but it does have a DLC with it, unfortunately. Duck Dynasty, I have double platinum that. I love the show. I did not enjoy the game, we'll say it that way, because it has a couple of annoying missable trophies, and it takes like 8 to 10 hours, plus the boat races are really, really annoying just because of the rubber band AI being completely ridiculous. Rugby 15, also double platinum that, one of the only other sports games I've done. It's very easy, but it's one of the worst looking games I've ever played. Enough said on that. Hannah Montana, I managed to hold off on doing that until platinum number like 117 or something, so I'm very proud of myself for holding off that long on platinuming it. Black Ops 1, I did that as number 115, and I finally got around to platinuming it. I don't know why I waited so long on it. Still have some DLCs to go back and clean up someday, but definitely a fun game. World at War, that was actually my first ever Call of Duty Platinum, as crazy as that sounds, but I've gone back to it more recently and done some DLCs. I want to say I'm only missing DLC trophies from the last DLC. Yeah, I finished Map Pack 2 entirely, I just have Map Pack 3 to do. Another Adventure Time. Shrine 2 is very easy. Just look at a guide, you can get it in like 3 to 4 hours. It's not very difficult. You don't even really have to beat the game, I don't believe. You just have to beat like 7 levels of it or something. Goat Simulator, already talked about that. Talked about all these. Advanced Warfare, here's a new one. Advanced Warfare is the easiest Call of Duty game to platinum, but it has some annoying 100% because I still have to complete the last 3 DLCs at some point. I hope to do that someday. I just don't know exactly when, though, because I wasn't a big fan of the Exo Zombies mode. I wasn't really a big fan of the game in general, but I hopefully will go back to do that someday. Destiny. This one might surprise people that I've really not made any progress on this game. I couldn't get into the game. I didn't find it to be that enjoyable. I just really did not like it, even though I liked The Division to some degree, and I'm not planning on getting Destiny 2 whenever it comes out, because I just really didn't enjoy the game. And I really didn't make much progress on the trophies. I would have a long way to go if I ever decided to go back to that. Oregon Trail, that's a fairly easy 100%. It's just very, very luck-based. Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, I've double 100% of that game. It's very easy. It takes about 2 hours, and it's a decent game. Arcade Archives again. Mad Max, that one I would have platinumed a long time ago, but unfortunately, they just decided to have that stupid one really, really bad trophy related to completing all the challenges be glitched because the locations glitch. So I will have to go back and basically beat the entire game again someday, and it takes like 50 to 100 hours to 100%, so not looking forward to that at all. Sherlock Holmes Crime and Punishment, very, very easy game. It's another sort of walking simulator puzzle game. More Arcade Archives. Lego Jurassic World, that is a fairly easy Lego game just with a ton of collectibles in it, and wasn't a big fan of all the stuff having to have different dinosaurs and such. But it was an okay game. It's not terrible, it's just not one of my favorites because I'm not the biggest fan of that series. Saints Row 4, I've done both versions of that. It is very, very easy, but it does have a trophy for playing the game for 40 hours. 100%ing the game in its DLCs takes about 30 hours. If you're going kind of slowly, you can do it faster. So very annoying, but still easy. Another Duck Dynasty Paparazzi, that's another easy 100%. As long as you have 2 controllers, it takes about half an hour. The PS3 version of Resident Evil 5, I platinumed the game. It was my 3rd platinum a long time ago, but I am not 100%ed the game. I still have the entire Versus DLC to do. I completed all of Lost in Nightmares, though, and I have one more trophy in Desperate Escape. This version is harder than the PS4 version just because of the the more sensitive controls. Trivia game, don't know why I did that. Another Arcade Archives. The Smurfs 2, that was a easy kids game, nothing to worry about with that. South Park: The Stick of Truth, that was my 100 platinum trophy. It is a pretty easy game as long as you follow a guide through it, just because it has a lot of missable trophies and collectibles. But very fun game, very excited for the Fractured Butthole if it ever comes out, as well as the PS4 version of Stick of Truth. More Arcade Archives. I've double platinumed African Adventures for Cabela's. It's easy aside from one shooting gallery. Double platinum Murdered Soul Suspect. It's another easy sort of walking simulator game with some extremely poorly designed combat and like 250 collectibles. Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures 2, I don't really remember it that well, but I remember it being mostly easy. It has a lot of silver trophies, which is nice. Putty Squad, I personally really did not like this game, and I personally found it to be harder than a lot of people have said it is. It's not that bad, but it's still kind of annoying at times. I want to say it has 3 different versions. I'm not planning on doing the other versions at any point. Alien Isolation, that's a game I need to go back to. I actually bought the game online, but I never really played it much. I only ever played it when me and Payne were kind of playing it, maybe with some alcohol involved. I'm not going to get much into that, but I really need to get back to it because I have it purchased and it's only like a 4 out of 10. Black Ops 3, I really need to get back and finish this game. I don't know why I've been putting it off. I have not 100%ed it at all, but I do have like 1 Zombies trophy left, and that's it. I have to complete the Zombies Easter egg, just keep having bad luck with it. More Arcade Archives. Ether 1, that's a very easy walking simulator game, just with a lot of glitches. Cabela's Big Game Hunter Pro Hunts is annoying because it has a lot of luck-based trophies and luck-based hunts to it, depending on if you can satisfy the conditions for the hunts. Easy racing game. Uncharted 2, it's the medium difficulty Uncharted game, but I have not done the DLCs. I do want to do those DLCs at some point, though, because Uncharted 2s are easier and less time-consuming than Uncharted 3s. Far Cry 4, that's an easy Far Cry game, one of the easiest ones. I've 100%ed the PS4 version. I have not played and don't really intend to play the PS3 version, but it's a very easy game, so definitely recommend it. And I found it to be pretty fun. Okay, guys, I just took a quick break there to get a drink and everything, just to rest my voice for a minute. The Order 1886, that's one of the easiest PS4 Platinums out there that is not like a walking simulator game. Excuse me. It takes like 4 to 6 hours, 4 to 8 hours to platinum. It's very easy. I thought it was a decent game, aside from it being, overhyped. Falling Skies, that's a fairly easy platinum, but it has a lot of really badly glitched trophies that can completely screw your run. Plus, it takes like 40 to 50 hours to platinum, so you definitely want to be very careful while playing it. Another African Adventures. Puss in Boots, that's another very easy kids game. It takes like 3 to 5 hours. I would say it's actually one of the easier kids games out there. Prototype 2 again. LA Cops is like a top-down top-down shooter. It's not too difficult. It's just got a couple really annoying parts. Map Mania Exciting Hour. I want to say that's the hardest Arcade Archives game I've ever done by far. I found that one to be actually very difficult, and it was like the second one to come out for the American audiences. That one took me like 2 hours because it was really difficult for me. Borderlands 2, I have double platinumed and 100% of the game. I really love this game. I had a lot of fun playing through it both times. Definitely would recommend. Another version of The Wolf Among Us, Valiant Hearts: The Great War. It's an okay game. It's sort of a story-driven game. It's okay. It's not great. Resident Evil 1 HD, that game was a lot of fun. Really, really enjoyed it. Just the only problem is you have to beat the game 6 times, and you have to do things like beat it without saving, or beat it without dying, stuff like that. Transistor, fairly easy PS Plus game from a long time ago. Definitely would recommend checking it out because the soundtrack is great. Just the game is slightly challenging, but not too bad. Another Arcade Archives, another easy 100%. Killzone Shadowfall, that's one of my proudest platinum trophies because it's one of the most time-consuming I've ever done. Like, it takes anywhere from 50 to 100 hours depending on how good you are at boosting with the bots, because you can at least boost it with the bots now. You used to not be able to do that. I have both DLCs to do at some point, but I do own the DLCs, so I will at least get some completion done on that game. Infamous First Light, that's a pretty easy platinum trophy. I found it to be easier than Second Son, partially because it's shorter, but some people find it to be the other way around. The Swapper, that's an easy 100% with a guide. Another Walking Dead. Done Flower twice. It's a very easy 100%, just kind of grindy. Another version of The Walking Dead. Sly, I still have to go back to Sly 3. That's a long story. I never had time to finish it when I first rented a copy of the Sly collection. I do need to go back to it, though. Sly Minigames is very easy, 100%. Takes like an hour. Sly 1, already done that. Flower again, Murdered again. The Legend of Korra, that's based off of the TV series, which is one of my favorite TV series ever on Nick. The game is not that good, though, and unfortunately doesn't do the series that much justice, and it is easy for the most part. It has a few tough parts, like beating Pro Bending on Ace and beating 1 or 2 of the levels on the hardest difficulty. PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, that game is relatively fun at times, but it has a whole lot of, what do you want to call it? Just like a whole lot of grinding, because you have to like beat the game with each character. Plus you get a DLC, the easiest DLC trophy in existence, because it takes like 1 minute to get. Modern Warfare 2, that is a very, very fun game, but the Spec Ops mode can be a bit painful at times. Wolfenstein: The New Order, I've done that twice. It is the easiest Wolfenstein game in existence, and it's pretty fun. I really actually enjoy this game a lot. I've double platinum the Lego Movie game. That is one of the easiest Lego games and one of the shortest that's not on the Vita. I would say it is probably the easiest and shortest that's not on the Vita because it takes less than 15 hours. Sly Thieves in Time, that's Sly 4. I have not done the PS4 version. I don't know if I will because I really did not like this game. It had way too many collectibles. Sound Shapes, Korra, Sound Shapes, Walking Dead Season 2, seen all those already. PlayStation Home, that is completely unobtainable now, but I did that a long time ago. It had an annoying trophy that you had to sign in on 50 different days. Rengo and Kung Fu Panda 2 were both easy kids games. Kung Fu Panda 2 is a little bit easier than Rengo. They're both like under 10 hours, though. Very, very easy platinums. Definitely would recommend for trophy whores like myself. Linger in Shadows, that's an easy 100%, takes less than an hour. Infamous Festival of Blood, another Infamous game, takes only a few hours. Shadow of the Colossus, this is one that I hope to go back to someday, but it is a very difficult platinum because you get a lot of trophies just for beating the game. But I still have to beat the game on hard, reach the top of the shrine, and do all the normal and hard time attacks and find all the collectibles. Green Lantern, I found this game to actually be a little bit harder than I was expecting it to be. It was definitely harder than I thought. It's still not too bad, though. Same thing with that Sonic the Fighters game, and World Gone Sour, which is like based off of like the Sour Patch Kids. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Infamous 2, that's easier than Infamous 1. It's fairly easy overall, although it does have a couple of online-based trophies with like playing custom scenarios or something. Call of Duty Ghosts. I have platinumed the PS3 version and not gotten any DLCs in either version. I need to go back to this game someday. I do want to get it platinum because it is one of the easier Call of Duty games. It's just Extinction Mode is so annoying at times and I never enjoyed it. Another Wolfenstein Lego Movie. Jetpack Joyride. That was an annoying 100% because you have to like purchase all items and go 5,000 kilometers. Or excuse me, 5,000 meters or 5 kilometers in a single run. That's actually really difficult. It took me a long time to get. Red Dead, very proud of that one because the platinum is so hard to obtain now because of just how broken the game is. And I still obtained it when it was kind of broken. Did not 100% any of the DLCs. I really need to go back and finish Undead Nightmare and Outlaws to the end because those are the easier of the two. And just try to finish some of those trophies. Magus is basically like the precursor to Orc Slayer. It's an extremely bad game, but very, very easy to platinum in 100%, or just platinum. I mean, there's no 100%. Sam & Max The Devil's Playhouse. I've done all 5 episodes of The Devil's Playhouse. It's another easy Telltale game. Just follow a guide and you won't have any problems. Air Conflicts Vietnam. That one is easy, but a terrible game, and the multiplayer trophies will require boosting, but you need 6 people to do them, which is the difficult part of this one. Sam & Max again. Payday 2, that's one game I'm never going to go back to. I've got it hidden. I'm never going to go back to it. I hope we're able to, like, delete trophy lists someday. Killzone 2, that is my overall proudest platinum of all time. It takes about 50 hours. It has a ridiculous amount of online grinding that you have to do. You have to be very careful with it because you have to be at the top of the leaderboard, top 1% at the end of any specific week. So definitely a tough one. Elite mode in that game is also very tough, but definitely proud of it. Back to the Future, already talked about that. Thomas Was Alone is an easy 100%. Brothers talked about that. Ice Age 3 is another easy platinum trophy, though it's a little harder than some of the other kids' games. Infamous Second Son, that's one of the easiest PS4 platinums. It was one of the first easy PS4 platinums. Very, very simple compared to some of the other Infamous games. Dead Nation Apocalypse Edition and the regular Dead Nation, I don't know when I'm going to go back to because I found those games to be really, really difficult. Maybe I'm the only person. Cars Racer-Rama, that's a racing game. It's very easy. That was my 50th platinum. Ben 10 Omniverse 1 and 2 are both pretty easy. I've done both of them. The Last of Us, I need to go back to and do the DLCs for, although I did Left Behind, I believe. Yeah, I finished Left Behind. I just have the other 3 DLCs. Very great game, but a little challenging with some of the multiplayer that you have to do, and the hardest difficulty can be a bit tough at times. Toy Story Mania, that one is pretty easy. That's actually one of the easiest. It takes like less than 3 hours. Very simple. Another Pac-Man game, very easy there. Beer Pong, I don't know why I played that. I was like one of the first 10 people in the world to platinum it or something, and it's terrible. Another Cabela's game. This one was one of the easier ones. Nothing much to worry about with like time-limited hunts and stuff with this one compared to some of the other games. Family Guy Back to the Multiverse, it was okay, but it had some really annoying survival mode trophies that took a while. Dead Rising 2 off the record I need to go back to. I only have a few trophies left, mostly like multiplayer related. Another Abs Animals, COD Ghosts. SpongeBob Plankton's Robotic Revenge. This game is really bad, and it's a really easy platinum trophy, but it's also really grindy. Shrek Forever After, that's a collectathon. Rise of the Guardians is a collectathon, but neither of those games are difficult. Saints Row the Third is one of the better Saints Row games. I definitely enjoyed Saints Row the Third, but it is a little tougher than some of the later ones just because there's no like flying around and superpowers, which is fine. I mean, that made it a better game overall. Fallout New Vegas, that one was a real fun game. I love the Fallout games, as you guys know, and I 100% of the game. New Vegas, though, is the hardest of the 3 Fallout games by far, just because, like, the hardcore mode, and you have to beat the game with all 4 factions, but the faction decision is, like, a lot earlier on to where you can start making the other ones angry. Another Back to the Future. Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. Oh boy, that one was really annoying, actually, because it has some really annoying multiplayer trophies and, like, ranking in the top 1% or something, and this one was annoying. I just remember that being, like, a painful one to do. The Force Unleashed 2 was kind of challenging at times, but it wasn't horrible. Just Cause 2 was sort of the same way. Tales from Monkey Island, that game is very easy. Megamind is, of course, one of the easiest platinum trophies out there. It takes like around 3 to 4 hours. Very, very easy. Nothing to worry about with it. I've done both Heavy Fire games. I found them to be surprisingly fun in kind of a stupid way. They're both very easy, though. They're like on-rails shooter games. Grand Theft Auto 5, the PS3 version. Long story on that, but never going to go back to it. MLB 13, The Show Home Run Derby. That's one of the most well-known easy 100%. It takes less than a minute. The Godfather 2, that was a fairly easy platinum trophy. It's kind of fun at times. Gangster game. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, another easy kids game. Resident Evil 6, I need to go back to that someday. I just never liked the game enough to really play it. Jurassic The Hunted for PS3, that is an easy game for the most part. It's got a few annoying parts to it, a few annoying levels. It's like a Jurassic Park style game, but it's terrible. Penguins of Madagascar I thought was going to be fun, but it turned out to be more of a puzzle-based game. Spare Parts, that's a very easy platinum trophy with a ton of gold trophies in it. It's mostly a collectathon. Survival Shadows of Katmai is one of the harder Cabela's games, just because of some of the shooting galleries being kind of challenging, but it's still not too bad overall. Infamous 1, that is the hardest Infamous game because it's not the best put together game when I look back at it nowadays, plus it's like the most time consuming and has the most stuff to deal with. The Testament of Sherlock Holmes, that's another, story related puzzle game, not too bad. Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon is a lot of fun. Really enjoyed that game. Another heavy fire game. Man vs. Wild was terrible. Did not enjoy that game in the slightest, especially since the controls are bad, and that can determine whether or not you earn some of the specific trophies of like not passing out in each area. Another version of Resident Evil 4. Up, I think was actually my first Gamefly game, which is kind of cool. It's a very easy kids game with a lot of collectibles, but it was my first Gamefly game. Heavy Rain, that was a very solid game, very fun to play, mostly easy platinum trophy, just kind of time consuming because you have to get all the endings. Price is Right was an easy 100%. NCIS game, that was sort of the first Telltale style game out there that was not made by Telltale because every trophy is earned by actually completing the game. You don't technically need a guide, but a guide makes it easier. Uncharted 3, that was my first Uncharted platinum, but I'm never going to 100% that version. Frogger Returns is an easy 100%. Detunes, Pooh-Yus, those are all easy 100%s. Dead Island Riptide is another one I really need to go back to because I know it's not that hard what I have left. I just have to do a couple multiplayer trophies, but a few of the trophies glitched on me. Like the collectibles or something glitched on me, so that's why I never could platinum it. So I do need to go back to it someday. Modern Warfare 3, that's another one I'm going to go back to someday. It's not quite as hard as MW2 according to most people, but I still have about half the Spec Ops left. Plus, I have a few of the DLCs left to do. Battle Los Angeles is a fairly easy 100% first-person shooter. I Am Alive is another fairly easy 100% game, and actually a game that I enjoyed. Dead Nation again. Killzone 1 is the easiest Killzone game because you can use cheats for it. Walking Dead Survival Instinct is extremely glitchy and terrible. One of the worst PS3 games I've played that I was really anticipating, thinking was going to be good. Mercenaries 2 World in Flames, it's not terribly difficult, but it's so broken, so glitchy compared to a lot of games that a lot of people are unable to platinum in because of that. Saul is a pretty easy overall game, mostly related to different types of kills. Cabela's Outdoor Adventures was my first Cabela's game. It's one of the easier ones out there, nothing too much to worry about there. Sly 2, already talked about that. Far Cry 3 is a pretty easy Far Cry game, as most of them are. It just has a lot of collectibles in it, and they're a little harder to find than the later ones. Tomb Raider Underworld, terrible game, but you can use cheats for it. Terminator Salvation, that's where I got my first 1000th trophy at. That's a very, very easy game. It's all gold trophies. Just beat the game on hard. Me and my neighbor actually played through that, and we had a lot of fun with that. Battlefield 3, I really need to go back to that one as well, even though it's a lot harder than the more recent Battlefield games. Quantum of Solace, I'm very proud of that Platinum trophy because that one's nearly unobtainable now because of the multiplayer, and I did everything legit. Call of Duty Classic, that's one that I've tried to go back to. I cannot beat that game on Veteran. I cannot beat the third level of the game on Veteran, and I've beaten every other Call of Duty game except Black Ops 3 on Veteran. So that says something about the game, or my lack of skill. And then, of course, there's Fallout 3, and wow, that was also actually before they separated the DLC trophies. That was my first Platinum, and one of my favorites, because I absolutely love Fallout 3. So at this point in time, level 43, 65%, 10,381 trophies, 202 platinums, 1,026 golds, 2,567 silvers, 6,586 bronzes. I mean, I've been trophy hunting for so long, guys. I've been trophy hunting for many, many years, and I'm really, really proud of how far I've come in those years of doing so. I've made just a lot of progress with it. If I look at my PSN profile stats, I have 304 games played, 264 completed, 93.02% completion, 825 unearned trophies, 3.42 trophies per day. If I look at... I didn't mean to actually click on Trophy Advisor. I'm looking at this right now away from the screen. If I look at some of my other stats, my most winningest, I guess, trophy hunting months have been December of 2014. I got 348 that month. And then October of 2016, I got 528. There are different times where things have plateaued and increased a lot. By day, most of my trophies come on Monday, Wednesday, and Sunday. Actually, my least trophy day is Saturday, which is ironic. As for times, most of my trophies come at 8 or 9 p.m. are the most common, and I have never earned a trophy from 3 a.m. to 8 a.m., which I hope to rectify someday. I really actually kind of want to do that. Then I have, like, just a lot of different averages. I have, 124 PS4 games, 149 on the PS3, 21 multi-platform. Most of my trophy points come from bronzes. According to the world leaderboard, I am currently ranked 2,087 in the world and 407 in the country. With that, I have 304,410 trophy points. So I've earned lots of trophy points as well over the years. So those are just some extra statistics for you guys that might be interested. So like I said, I knew this was going to be an extremely long video just because I had a lot to talk about with this now that I'm finally starting back trophy hunting, because I took about a month off after platinuming Attack on Titan for the most part, just to rest, play other games. Platinumed a couple games in the process, but not too many of them, and I have a bunch more lined up that I'm ready to get started on. You guys might see them even at the bottom of the screen right now. So with that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys for more trophy hunting videos and such in the near future.